What's going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs? Yet again, you're listening to another episode of Rebellion Wrestling Radio. And as always, I'm your host, Mr. Showtime, a.k.a. Ryan, a.k.a. El Jefe, a.k.a. Random dude that would like to cut your lawn. Right now, what is that vibrating? What is happening right now?
It's your lawnmower going off again. You need to turn it off.
It's probably the lawnmower. So, right now, everybody's calling me from the bowels of Titan Towers. We have the whole crew on today. I'm very excited. Lately, well, first of all, we did an episode a few weeks ago that was too greasy for anybody's ears, so this is going to be the Grease Fire episode. Basically, 2017 has pretty much come to a close, so we're going to talk about the year in review 2017. And
like Paige's legs.
Like Paige's legs, yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paige.
I like Paige's legs.
Jesus Christ.
That means it would come to a close, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Shout out Del Rio.
Shout out to Del
Shout out to
Rio.
Xavier Woods. Shout out to Brad Maddox.
Oh my God. Okay, so we are going to talk about pro wrestling today, but for all the listeners out there, I want to thank you for all your listens, your downloads, your subscriptions. If you want to check us out, go to rebellionwrestling.podbean.com. You can support us on prowrestlingtees.com/Rebellion Wrestling. Get yourself a t-shirt. Give us money, or we will find you and take it. Also, that's what she said, yes. And follow us on the Twitter at RW_podcast. And all the past episodes are on iTunes and Podbean and all those fun places where you can find your favorite pro wrestling podcasts. On the phone, introducing, you know him, he's been on the show a million times. He's the OG of the show. He's one half of the World Podcast Tag Team Champions, hailing from Asgard, Cleveland. The one, the only, Augustus himself, the Hammer. The Hammer.
The Hammer is here.
Hammer is here.
The Triple X Hammer today.
The Triple X Hammer.
Yeah, the Triple X Hammer.
Jesus
So you just tell it all, straightening everything out.
Oh, man. And another former guest of the show, host of the No Stones Unturned podcast. He is coming at us from the Teddy Long School of Managing. Holla, 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 my boy, James Johnston. What's going on?
Today I'll be known as Teddy Schlong.
God. Second. Theodore. That's what I'm not calling you.
Hey, Teddy Schlong, is he like is he kind of like he's a pimp, he's got his women, so he's gonna put you bitches in a tag team match, player.
And the back of the El Camino.
God damn it. You should love my jokes. You should love my corny jokes by now. And hailing from the mean streets, the mean ice rinks of Titan Towers. Watch out, you. What's that? You're fucking up my intros.
Sorry.
104th from the corner of Fleet and Broadway. She will check your ass into the paint. I don't know anything about hockey. Siren Lemieux. What is going on?
What's going on? And that's not me vibrating.
Somebody's vibrating, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this before the end of the episode.
Guilty conscience.
I think that vibrator's going to get to the bottom of it.
Jesus.
Who's the vibrator when you got Teddy Schlong?
Yeah, so there you go. Hello.
Oh. Yep. So
Oh yeah. Lucky greasy.
At the end of the day, we are all pro wrestling fans. You know, it's kind of like we talked about it. It's kind of a nice little escape from the the real world, because the real world can be kind of a crazy, nasty, scary place. You know, and
I be a bitch.
the world can be a bitch sometimes. But we're kind of like in a little niche group of people that really enjoy the wacky world of professional wrestling. We try to go to as many shows as we can, whether it's WWE shows. I go to a lot of indie shows. But at the same time,
back from New Japan.
You just got back from New Japan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A very docile place.
Oh really? Did you? Are you going to be? Are Are you challenging the winner of Omega and Jericho?
They wouldn't let me. My passport expired, so I had to get back before Trump's. While he's still in office, that I could still get in.
Because you got warrants and you can't wrestle for Gato. So, Jesus. So, dude, let's talk about this. 2017, right? A lot of shit happened this year. What? Are you cooking right now? Ham, are you cooking right now? Are you
not anymore. I just shut it down.
I don't know what that was.
we're cooking with grease though, so don't be surprised if you a lot of popping.
So
popping and burning.
Jesus.
So sounds like a good Friday night for Teddy Strong.
It does sound like a good Friday night.
Popping and burning. Yeah. Teddy is popping and burning.
I'm gonna try desperately to keep this on track, and I don't think I'm gonna succeed.
Penicillin for everybody.
So
hydrocortisone 1.
2017. I'm gonna keep on here, okay? A lot of shit happened this year, okay? Now here's the thing: we love pro wrestling. We love the good. We're critical of the bad. And what the fuck are you doing? Are you sharp?
To your cat?
What are you talking about?
I keep hearing so much shit going on in the background. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I'm sitting down now, so it's not me.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Sitting on my throne.
Maybe it's...
What? Wait, that throne?
The toilet? The toilet?
No.
It might be a toilet.
Like, give us a courtesy flush, bro. Come on.
My golden toilet is not being used right now.
The golden bedazzled throne of Hammer.
Right.
So, what do you guys, if you could sum up 2017, what's one word you can say? Now, this could just be from WWE. It could be for New Japan. There's a lot of shit that happened this year. What's something that stood out to you guys? Positive, one good thing, one bad thing.
Ladies first.
I was going to say my word is misguided.
Okay, how so?
I just feel like the WWE doesn't know what they're doing. They don't listen to the fans. They don't know what they want, and they're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks.
That is very true. They've had some real rough storylines lately. I would say probably in the last probably 2 or 3 years. You know, here's the thing: the in-ring product is really, really good, but the storylines are kind of lacking, and they kind of have their guys, and they kind of do push them down your throats. You know, I don't mind a Roman Reigns, and I don't mind a John Cena. They got this whole thing with Jason Jordan. I know we all hate it. You know, but yeah,
Elias,
I get it.
garbage.
Who's that?
Elias.
Oh, I love Elias.
I kind of like his gimmick. I just think, like you said, they're forcing it too much.
Yeah.
He's underused. Like he's really a nice. He has a nice character. They're just They're just not using him right.
So
I'm just tired of all the lifts.
Yeah.
There's so many lifts going on in the WWE that I can't handle it.
I love
too many
lifts.
I love lists.
I love a good lisp here every now and then. Okay, so Siren, that was your kind of your bad thing. What's some good stuff that you were happy? You know, whether it's a match that happened this year, maybe it's a storyline, maybe it's a debut or a return, or you know, what's something that kind of stood out that you're like, wow, you would go back and watch.
My heart's with Finn Balor all the time, and that match with AJ Styles was everything to me. With Finn and AJ.
From TLC. And you know what, that was really good, and that was like WWE's like best example of just like crash course booking, because that was when they had that pay-per-view where Roman got meningitis.
Everybody got AIDS.
Yeah, everybody got AIDS. And then, but here's the thing, that pay-per-view, like on paper, kind of looked like a throwaway, kind of looked boring, and then when you swapped out, you threw AJ Styles in there, who took a red eye from like South America, I believe, to fight Finn Balor, the Demon Finn Balor version, which was awesome. Which was, I want to say, probably one of the candidates for match of the year. and then you have that same pay-per-view where they, prematurely, but still, excitingly, took Kurt Angle out of retirement. Basically, he became the Shield's dad that night, which was kind of funny. But that pay-per-view, I think we all agreed, we're like, that was a really good pay-per-view,
It really was.
And I think that
AIDS was the best thing to happen in that pay-per-view.
It was. I mean, Meningitis 316,
Yeah,
Shout out to JoJo.
Shout out to Meningitis. There were a lot of shout-outs to JoJo. We should not be able to sit that close to the ring anymore at Raw.
Patient zero. You cannot tell me. I just refuse to believe that all of them that got sick wasn't hitting that at one point.
That's true. And it was only the Raw locker room.
Coincidence.
Yeah, that was a business video making it be made.
That's very true.
And to be honest about it, and before you move on, to be honest about it, I probably would have took meningitis too. But anyway.
Oh, Lord. hey, I second that.
Shout out for Meningitis. James, what's a high and a low for 2017 so we can get started?
A high for me would be the Hardys' debut, and the low for me would be Charlotte Flair's naked leaks. Those are terrible.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Did I miss those for real?
No, you didn't miss anything, dog.
Oh, okay.
There was that was a big story though. Like, for example, like whether it's whether you check them out or whether or not, I mean that's still a big story when they had all these WWE female competitors that had these photos leaked. Former competitors that they had their photos leaked. It's kind of like it was weird because it all happened like within like a week, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I don't even understand like how that would be the case. Like, I'm sure there's some dick pics out there that
Shout out to Anonymous.
yeah, like, and then you have the whole Page thing, which I think like if you think about it.
Wait, hold on. Did you say you sure there's some cock pics out there?
Yeah. I mean, I
hope so.
I mean, I was young and I was desperate. I needed the money, so. Anyways.
So that explains the assless chaps that you have in the back seat of your car.
Well, yeah. I mean, you never know when you're gonna, need to bust out a Shawn Michaels entrance.
I mean, you never know when you got to get right off of the lawnmower and dance, and then get right back to work.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. That's why "Sexy Boy's" my ringtone. So there you go.
Lawnmower slash pool boy slash gutter cleaner slash.
Your people do weird things for money.
My people. I have.
Arriba.
2017. Shout out to Tito Santana. Anyways.
Shout out to LAX.
Oh. Hey, I got to hang out with Homicide a few months ago. Dude's the nicest dude in the world too, by the way. So shout out to Homicide. I was really scared to meet him, by the way.
Shout out to domestic violence.
Yes.
Next.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Recently, we got Rich Swann. Man, what's up with that?
Ricky. Oh, Richie.
Shout out Baby Coco.
Baby Coco.
Can we explain the Baby Coco thing? Because nobody's gonna understand.
The fact that Coco Beware's illegitimate child that he had with Jacqueline.
It's true.
So we're at a Raw, and I'm trying to paint this picture. So we're at a Raw, and Rich Swann comes out, and all of a sudden, I think it was Brian or James. They're like, "Coco, Baby Coco," and this child in front of us just looked around terrified. We're there. Literally people are like cheering for Rich Swann, but we're not cheering for Rich Swann. We're cheering for Baby Coco the whole night at the top of our lungs.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the night of the infamous Taker return.
And that
showed up.
That was a moment of 2017. We were at the Go Home show for the Royal Rumble. Taker. The lights go out. Somebody screamed at the top of their lungs. I don't know who it was.
I don't know. I went back to Asgard at the time. So I missed that part.
Scream like
I was back in Asgard.
In the world.
There was video, and it was inconspicuously destroyed, so no one can view this video anymore.
Yeah, shame. I should have been there. I was back at Asgard watching it on my TV. So
all I'm saying is that, Hammer, you got some pipes on you.
That was the Raw y'all left me. I was kind of upset.
What do you mean I left you?
It took me 2 days to recover my hearing.
Yeah, when you turn around, you hear like a 6'6" black man screaming like an 8-year-old white girl. Like,
At a Justin Bieber concert.
Right.
Well, what do you do? What do you do when the Undertaker's gong goes off? You know, you lose your mind. And then you had freaking Oldberg in the ring. Shout out to Oldberg. Oh yeah, the revival of the XFL. That's apparently coming in a couple weeks.
Hey, like a young white girl to put her sign down.
Oh, you were yelling at it. You were not happy.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're yelling at a sweet little girl with a Bailey headband, and you're like, "Hey!" You did like you did the angry black man put bass in your voice. You're like, "Hey, put that sign down." Hey.
Oh yeah. He told her she was gonna disappear.
He's like, "No, I'm talking to your mom."
Yeah. Like 400 years of slavery just like festered up in me, and I just got angry real quick.
Jesus.
It was close to February too, so it made sense.
And no one else heard him whisper to her, "You know what trafficking is?" She said right now. She said right now.
Dear God. Hammer. All right, Hammer, what's your...
And her mom winked at me.
She did. She did. And she gave you, like, her Cracker Jacks.
Oh, God. Was that number at the bottom of the box?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So it's my turn now?
The prize is on the bottom, big boy. Jesus.
To make this problem disappear.
Oh my God, Hammer, what's a high and a low for you to kick off?
High and low. Low, I would say would be good. Low would be frying pan face on SmackDown by the name of Ruby Riott.
Oh yeah, you are not a fan.
Right, she's the morning after Paige.
Frying pan morning after Paige. Either way, her face looks like a mixture of a cast iron skillet and the camel from the cigarette camel. And then,
I hate you because I'm not going to get that image out of my face now.
Yeah, sorry
out of my
about
head.
that. Yeah. And high, I guess the high would have been shoot. I don't know. I would say the high would be, and I mean, even though it's a somber one, it was the actual send off of the Undertaker.
Yeah,
like that was the classiest, best send off I've ever seen.
When do you guys think that there's rumors that he's coming back? Well, he's coming back at that 25th anniversary of Raw or some shit like
25.
Rumor is that he's coming to start an angle with somebody. I don't want to say who. I've heard rumors. I think we talked about these rumors today in our chat.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about that? Do you think it would be kind of tainted?
That man needs to stay dead.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Hammer earlier, man. Like, at this point now, it's kind of like been there, done that. You seen it. If they wouldn't have had him lose to Brock, if they wouldn't have had him lose to Superman. And then they finally, just had him face, the rumored new opponent. It would have been better. It would have been like final match versus final match. But now it's kind of like I was telling him, like, nobody really wants to see that match. I don't personally. And Hammer said he didn't either, and I can just,
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I can see where they would be coming from, and I think I explained this to Teddy earlier, too, is that if Taker had lost this year, if he had lost to a relevant opponent that isn't being forced to be relevant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I could see his send-off being the end-all be-all. But because they use that, or they tried to use it as a launching pad for the bitch dog, and it did not work, they're trying to salvage and give him what he ultimately wants. I think he ultimately wanted that match with Cena.
Yeah, I think Cena wanted it too, but then they swapped them out.
They they both wanted it. But the fact that Taker is such the company man, you know,
Yeah.
he's like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
That's very true. I
we'll
totally agree.
see.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I just don't. I don't see Taker's gonna come by just to say hi and that's it. You know, that's just my opinion. I honestly, it's hard for me to think about like a high or a low. I think a low for me, and this is coming from somebody who supports it, but I think the biggest low for me is the fall of 205 Live. Because you guys know, like, when it came out, like, I was, like, the biggest supporter of 205 Live. I was, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it was not necessarily just 205 Live, just the Cruiserweight division, because I think, like, I have a soft spot for that because of, like, when I used to watch WCW, and you know, I watched guys like Jericho and Benoit and Mysterio and all that. So those were, like, my guys. So I was really hoping that was going to be the Cruiserweight division. And
shout out to DB.
Shout out to DB. Jesus. Where am I going here? But at the end of the day, that's not what happened. That's the part that kind of sucks, you know? We got some good stuff. Like, Neville, I think, was a great, silver lining for that cloud that is 205 Live, but then now Neville is kind of out of it, too.
Well, question. Did anybody, because I didn't actually get to finish, did anybody ever finish the Jericho podcast with Austin Aries?
I did, yes.
Okay, so what did he say? Why did he walk?
Basically, it was I guess they parted on good terms, actually. He said, like, it was one of those, they have nothing for you, and he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't care people thought, like, that he left because he had a bad attitude, and he left because, you know, how they kept having him job out to Neville. They never gave him the title. He said, no, that wasn't the case. He's like, I was cool with you. He's like, I would have done commentary. I would have done whatever you guys wanted me to do. But, unfortunately, you know, that was not the case.
Oh, okay. All right, so, cool. That's it. So, yeah, you're correct. Neville was the crown jewel of that era.
Mm-hmm.
Of that part of 205 Live, and then when they took the belt off of him, it did dismantle the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a letdown for me, and even like right now, like there's a lot of guys that I like, a lot of guys that I got to like go see and meet and interact with on the indies, like, you know, Cedric Alexander, and Rich Swann, you know, rest in peace, Rich Swann. Just to name a few. And
did he even make bail?
No, he made bail, yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's the classic, like, him and his wife, like, made up and all that stuff, but, you know, it's the WWE corporate wait and see thing, so.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it was
so if you bring him back, do you bring him back as in a gray white beater and shorts?
Yes, covered in hot sauce. Basically, Daddy Fat Nasty.
That's a big gimmick to live up to now.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think he can handle that.
Oh!
Oh!
I see what you did there.
That was extremely well played.
So my highlight, I think my highlight for the year, and I know we're kind of sticking to a lot of WWE, and that's like for the majority of what we watch. But I want to say probably the biggest highlight for me was not a match or a segment or a moment. It was Jericho challenging Omega for Wrestle Kingdom, which is going to take place next week. Isn't that crazy?
Right. What is that, on Friday or something?
Yeah, it's like on Thursday night and in Japan time, and I'm off Friday, so I will be watching it somehow.
3 in the morning?
Yeah. So, but it's
Remind me to give you my Fire Stick and let you update it so I can watch that.
I know, I gotta do that. I don't know why. That's illegal. Who cares?
Shout out to Bootleg Cable.
Yeah, it's Bootleg Cable all day long. So
shout out to Walmart.
Jesus Christ. What's some oh my god moments, like some crazy shit that happened that you guys would not believe that happened this year?
My sage powers were really on fire this year. I will say that.
Can we talk about what the sage powers are? Let's talk about...
The sage powers are, if you're not familiar with the hammer of Odin, okay? The sage powers are the leather straps that hang from the hammer.
Damn, this got greasy real quick.
The leather straps, and as long as those leather straps are in place, the sage power kind of twists the fabric of WWE reality to be to his whim.
Sounds like S&M.
Yeah. more or less, though.
Okay.
But so yeah, the stage powers were on fire this year. They called a lot of things that actually came to fruition. They actually.
So are you to blame for all the suckiness?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just the sucking.
No.
Wait.
No. Hey, no. So the good stuff that I called. Now some of the sucky stuff, unfortunately, I called, and it happened before I called it. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no.
Siren, have you watched an episode of Family Guy yet?
I have not.
You have 3 days, woman, or you are out. You have
Dude, I have hockey all weekend.
You have till Monday.
Yeah, but you got a smartphone.
I'm gonna find you the hockey episode. Okay.
Right, find me the hockey episode.
I'm gonna find you
No. Find her the Black Jesus episode.
No, I find her the Black Peter episode.
What?
Oh Lord.
That's seen every day. No, the Black Jesus episode.
Okay. Black Jesus.
Well, that's not really a whole episode. That's just a scene.
Yeah, but it's
worth watching.
It's amazing.
I don't even remember what that scene was for, but okay. Mama's ass.
Black Jesus.
Right. So.
What are we,
All right. So. Where were we again?
we were talking about
Sorry.
crazy shit that happened this year. Like, what's something that you were like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened?
I really can't believe they put the title on gender. I did not see that coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was out of left field. Like,
Yeah.
completely out of left field.
The way they ran with it, you could tell, okay, this is what they had planned from the beginning. But the fact that he really went over Randy clean like that was like, the fuck? And then that he beat him like 3 times afterward, granted, whatever Singh brother situation. Either way, he beat him clean.
Yeah, you did.
So,
And that was just like a weird moment because he was completely like, we knew he got re-signed, but he was just like jobbing out on like main event and NXT and Raw, and then all of a sudden he just shows up on SmackDown with the quote unquote superstar shakeup, and he's like the most powerful dude in the world.
right. You start drinking that elephant juice and
That's what they call it. Why do you guys think they went with Jinder?
Don't hinder gender.
Like, why do you think they went with him?
To launch their WWE India or whatever the heck they had.
But you know what? By the time they did the India tour, he was no longer champion, and he jobbed out to Triple H.
But they had already sold all the tickets.
Oh,
They sold out. They had sold out India already.
But
So that's
I don't
that's
care.
probably what Vince said. Vince probably was like, okay, so what's ticket sales doing in India? Oh, they're already sold out. Okay, where are we? We're in England. Take that title from him. Put it back on the white man.
I think they took the title from him because I was happy for the guy at first. You know, it's kind of a cool story. The fact he was fired. He was, you know, I think he had some pain pill addiction shit going on. He got himself in tremendous shape, no matter how he did it, and he came back and won the title. I thought that was actually a cool story. But the thing is that he still wrestled like a mid-card guy. Like, I never believed in my heart that, like, oh, this guy's the champ, you know?
Oh, yeah. His moveset is mediocre at best. He has no... But to be honest, none of the Indian wrestlers outside of the cruiserweight Indian wrestlers have a moveset.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, look at the Punjabi Playboy. He was what, 13 foot tall and couldn't even pull off a drop kick. I think he did one drop kick and he broke his arm and he was on the show for 2 weeks.
Shout out to Great Khali. Great Khali came back this year. It's so crazy.
Pointless comeback again.
That was that one pay-per-view. I remember the pay-per-view was so shitty. I can't remember which one it was, but I remember I fell asleep and I woke up to fucking, like, Great Khali on my screen. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
There's all the damn memes afterwards. It's like, somebody tell Khali he's not really the champ.
Oh, because he
the belt up.
he took the belt and, like, him and Jinder are having, like, a tug of war over it. Like, Khali's like, yeah, try to take it from me, bitch. That's so funny. Any other shocking moments for Siren or for James? Something you didn't see coming?
Remember? Theo.
What?
Teddy. His name is Teddy.
Theo.
I think one of the shocking moments for me, and it was kind of a piss off, and it was the fact that Nia Jax didn't get the championship at all this year.
Yeah.
Now, my like for her aside, like, she was the most dominant diva or the most dominant woman in all of, like, the women's division, like, from the beginning of the year all the way up until now. And the fact that you got, like, little heifers like Alexa Bliss and, like, you know, Sasha Banks and Bayley and all these other chicks that's beating her in, like, fatal four-way matches. Like, stuff like that, you know, makes, you know, it makes me fall even more out of light with the women's division. Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting because it's like, okay, yeah, you're trying to catapult the women's division into, this like out front, like, okay, you know what, the women's division, it means as much, if not more, than the men's wrestling does. But it's like, she's single-handedly, like, I mean, she's the most dominant and she's athletic as all hell. I don't see how she was getting squashed by anybody and did not get the title at least once this year. So that was kind of like eye-opening. You know, every match she was in that the title was on the line, I always thought she was going to win.
Yeah.
And I came away disappointed.
I can see that. Siren, what's a shocking moment or something that you didn't think would happen that happened in pro wrestling this year?
Big Cass getting hurt. Like, they were pushing him big. He had a bright future, and then boom, injury, out 9 months.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I've almost all but forgot about Big Cass.
Is what?
I said I almost all but forgot about him at this point.
I did too. I really did. When did he go down? He went down in what was that, August?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So damn, that means we won't get him back till after Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
at least he's got Total Divas now, right?
He does. Is he on Total Divas?
Oh yeah.
No.
Who?
With Carmella.
Carmella. Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his real life chick. Oh wow.
Yeah, we learned stuff today.
That's a lamppost waiting to happen.
Okay. So let's talk about real quick this is kind of a little bit of a fail, but it's not a little bit of a fail, it's a lot of bit of a fail. The woes of what is now known as Impact Wrestling.
Oh, this is all you, brother. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm out on that one.
Where do you start? Like, Impact, man, was like a. You know what? The one thing that made Impact Wrestling fail was pride. That was the biggest thing that made them fail was pride, because they had entirely too much, and it was too much pride that was exhibited on Dixie Carter's part. That's why Impact Wrestling failed. If she would have sat down, or if she would have sold her controlling stake or stock in the company, Impact Wrestling could honestly be a legitimate company right now that would be probably on the same plateau as an ROH, an Evolve, you know, all those companies.
I mean, I look at it like this. Okay, you start off the year, you're TNA, right? Then you go, no, we're Impact Wrestling with the weird fucking owl logo. And then I'm just talking about the branding itself. And then they say, well, we're going to do this partnership with Global Force Wrestling. Then they become Global Force Wrestling. When they become Global Force Wrestling, they forgot to buy the fucking rights to Global Force Wrestling. So now that Jeff Jarrett is gone, they're back to Impact Wrestling. But all their belts still say Global Force Wrestling. Like, it's such a fucking, just a train wreck. And then half the people are leaving. Like, look at all the people that left this year, okay? Kurt Angle, the Hardys, which, biggest blow there. Davey Richards left. Bubba Ray left. I think Bubba Ray. No, he was gone already. He was gone because he was in Bully Ray. He was in the EE already.
Yeah, they showed up last year.
Yeah, he was Dudley's last year.
Yeah. Well,
but like half the guys are gone. James Storm is gone. Yeah. It's just it's insanity.
The beautiful people, they left.
Yeah, they're both gone. Crazy Steve. Eric Young, Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Rockstar
Spud is gone. It's just the fact that, like, with a company, and I actually ordered Bound for Glory this year, and it was, and I don't want to shit on the show, but it was probably the worst wrestling show I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was done in, like, a tent, and, no, it was, like, this big, like this, you know when you go, like, those old school, like, flea markets, and they're, like, giant structures, but they're kind of, like, tents? Shit. It was like that. The attendance was, like, 650 people, and every match was and it sucks because, like, I have friends that work there, you know? And I don't want to say, like, anything, like, shitty, but it's like, you could tell that they don't care anymore, you know? At least the talent. Because it's like, why would you care about a company that does not, it has no direction, you know what I mean?
Right.
And at this point, and there's all those rumors, too, in the beginning of the year that Vince was buying the tape library. Remember, like, that was a huge rumor. Never... And then WWE was putting out those surveys, saying like, "Hey, would you like to see TNA wrestling?" And they named a couple other places like on the WWE network. So it really seemed like they at least were eyeing up purchasing it, you know. And I think it goes to what James was saying is that Dixie wouldn't sell at that point. And then
she was willing to sell it. Like from what I was reading, she was willing to sell it, but it was what she wanted for it.
Oh.
Like she wanted entirely too much, and it's like, you know, we can just wait till you go out of business and buy it at clearance.
Yeah, might as well. It's like WCW style. Well, it's like when they said they bought WCW. Like when Jericho said, it's like when I found out what they paid for it. He's like, I could have bought WCW. You know?
Shit.
Like for real. It was only like $12 million or $10 million. It was like super cheap. By like, you know, buying a company standpoint. So it was kind of like that. So yeah, I think like the woes of Impact Wrestling, like I don't look at Impact Wrestling or TNA as a number 2 promotion or anything. If anything's a number 2 promotion, it's probably New Japan or Ring of Honor.
New Japan, yeah.
New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, New Japan right now, just like looking at some of the stuff that they're doing right now, and even some of the talent that they're getting from around the world, like a lot of the guys from the Cruiserweight division are either, you know, back in New Japan or headed over to New Japan. The guys are, you know, like defecting from ROH and, you know, so forth. New Japan is probably, I mean, just like with a lot of the notoriety guys, they'll probably be as big. I want to say bigger, but probably as big as WWE. You know, have that like legitimate presence and start getting like pay-per-views, you know, that'll be like aired over here with like live, not delayed, but live, you know, telecast and announcing teams and stuff. So,
of course, yeah, of course.
I really think they're from a standpoint of where you look at what the E is here. They are the E of the East.
They
you know
are.
What I'm saying? And they're kind of taking the approach that the E took by slowly moving over to the West. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got an hour every Friday night.
They do.
On US TV. You know what I'm saying?
Access,
and that's kind of how that like WWE started over there. You know, they started with a small shows and everything. They got all the libraries. They got the stuff to do it. So yeah, I think New Japan is gonna make a move real soon. That's just gonna shake shit up.
Well, I think this Jericho thing is probably going to be the catalyst to it.
Definitely.
We got another like kind of a groundbreaking thing. We got the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match this year. Siren, what do you think about that?
That was a freaking joke.
You didn't like it?
No.
Did you watch the rematch though? Did you watch the rematch?
I did, and I just was so not impressed. Like that whole Carmella Ellsworth thing. You know, it tainted it. I mean, it could have been amazing, but it completely tainted it, made it a joke, and it was infuriating for me.
Mm-hmm. I did want
Tamina. For them to do that in January.
Well, here's the thing. I am legit excited for and I think that's a big moment that we got last week or 2 weeks ago.
Age Powers months ago.
Yeah, you did. You guys did. Yeah, you did think about that. The Women's Royal Rumble, it's gonna be coming up on a little less than a month, I guess. I think they'll do right with this one. We have.
Do you think they'll run it just like the men's Royal Rumble? Is it gonna be 60 seconds, 90 seconds?
Yeah, I think it'll be like I think they're only doing 20. I thought they were gonna do 30, but I think they're only gonna do 20. There's all these rumors that Ronda Rousey's going to make her debut in the Rumble.
I'm hearing that she might not because she's trying to be the next Angelina Jolie.
She doing movies again?
Yeah, that's the last report I read. But that means nothing. Rock was doing a movie and then showed up at Mania.
That's true. That's true.
And guess what movie she's filming?
What?
What was that?
Roadhouse.
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 Simon, that's a Family Guy reference. Family Guy reference.
Roadhouse.
Dude, I went to the dive bar of all dive bars last night, and all I was thinking was Roadhouse. I was getting ready to roundhouse kick a bitch last night.
Roundhouse kicking shit for no reason. You have your extra tight jeans, right? Your extra tight.
Yeah, I showed up, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, Dalton?"
Oh God,
it's pretty amazing. Oh, God damn it.
So did everybody? Okay, so since we're talking about this, we'll start with Siren. Who's going to win the Women's Rumble?
Oh gosh, I hope it's Asuka.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Teddy.
Yeah, Asuka.
Okay. Jefe, El Jefe, where were you?
I think that they're going to, here's the problem. I think that there's a lot of good candidates. Like, I think Naya's a great candidate. I until the injury scare last night, I thought it was Paige. What?
Answer the question.
I'm getting to my question in a roundabout way here.
I didn't ask for a roundabout way.
Oh, I think Asuka too. And I told you because they're going to do the Benoit thing where she jumps to SmackDown and challenges Charlotte, and then you book it as the Empress versus the Queen.
Yeah. Okay. That's all.
What do you got? You got the same one?
No, I literally I agree. I have Asuka. I have wild card, which I told you guys earlier today. My wild card is going to be Paige.
Yeah. I guess she's okay, by the way.
Oh, right.
She is not. Yeah, she escaped her injury, so my wild card is Paige. I just really think that they're going to really screw something up. I really do.
No, I think the last two is going to be her and Paige. That's why they're building up this storyline. And And then, she eliminates her. Because I don't think Paige needs to win it. Like, it would be... First of all, I'm actually really happy that she's back, Given the fact that, like, all the shit that went down for her in Del Rio and the tape leaks and all the shit and being suspended, it's kind of, the fact that she's back and she's actually in a prominent storyline. Like, when we went to Raw, she was, like, in 2 or 3 segments that night, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I think, like, they're putting her in that heel role, which is perfect. They're putting her against Asuka. And I think that... I just don't think Asuka versus Alexa Bliss is very intriguing. That's why I think that Asuka will win last eliminating Paige, challenge Charlotte, so you can book it. Because that's a more intriguing match to me. And I think that eventually, you could just get Nia to squash Alexa at Mania, like what we've been thinking was going to happen all this time.
Yeah, I think if they do that, it's going to end up they're probably going to use Paige at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
But and the funny thing is, I said the same thing to James earlier, is that there's no draw in Asuka versus Alexa. There's no draw in that
because it would just be a squash,
Exactly. And then the only problem, and the only reason, not even a problem, the only thing I think that's hindering us getting, like you said, a Benoit jump from Raw to SmackDown is that I don't think they're going to let Asuka jump. Like, I don't think they're going to let her jump to the V-show.
Unless they do some kind of trade, I don't know. Some kind of trade-off.
I don't think they'll let her jump there. Especially with that whole Money in the Bank situation still lingering around.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I that's another thing. I just all but forgot about it,
Mm-hmm. So that's what I told James. I kind of see somebody winning on Raw, staying on Raw, and then we get Charlotte versus 3 or 4 people. You know how they throw 3 people in a match, and then Carmella cashes in on the pre-show and wins the title on the pre-show.
Do you think they'll let Asuka do the John Cena free agent thing because nobody tells the Empress what to do?
Not yet.
No, she hasn't seen a level yet. No.
I don't see that happening yet. I see if she doesn't win, I do see her versus Paige at Mania because of the storyline that they're already running with.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? But
not. It seems like since... Oh, go ahead.
Do you think there's going to be any surprise people or women from NXT coming up? Any Ember Moon or anybody else showing up in the Rumble?
Absolutely.
Oh, I can almost guarantee we're going to get a Trish sighting.
Yeah, we'll get Trish. Here's the thing. I actually don't think we'll get Trish. You know who we'll get though? We'll get like
Caitlyn.
What's that?
Caitlyn.
Well, yeah, because she's trained to come back. I think we'll get you'll get a random one. Like, you'll get like a Beth Phoenix or a Victoria.
I was going to say Victoria probably before you get Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Beth is really just happy not wrestling anymore. So she's probably good and out of shape.
Get like a Molly Holly.
Or Lita. I mean, Lita's still... Lita's still
in shape.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But I think you'll get like, you might not get, you probably get Ember in there, but you'll get like a Kairi Sane. You'll probably get a Shayna Baszler. That might be your Ronda Rousey in. Maybe she won't be in the Rumble, but you'll get Baszler in the Rumble and Rousey at ringside.
I don't think you're going to get Shayna. Shayna just debuted this week.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't think they're going to do that. I think, if anything, between now and TakeOver, we're going to get Baszler versus Ember at TakeOver probably.
You got to keep in mind that we still got a good month before Rumble comes.
Exactly.
So a lot that can happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want the Funkettes from Flash Funk to come back.
Oh, I thought you meant Cameron.
No, nobody wants Cameron.
Cameron and Naomi in the ring again. The Funkadactyls are back.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Shout out to Too Cold Scorpio.
Shout out to Brian.
Oh, dear God. Oh my god! So, hey, lighthearted stuff that happened this year. The return of Southpaw Championship Wrestling.
The return? I thought they just opened.
Was it? They did it. Did they do it twice this year?
I think they did it twice.
Oh, what? I loved it. Like I watched that shit over and over again. Like,
yeah, it was definitely hilarious. It definitely felt good.
The first season, like, literally almost made my bladder fail me. But it was like the second season, it was funny, but it was like some characters were kind of like over the top. Like when
they tried too hard.
It was like, it was like the one with like Seth Rollins and Rhino. They were like no pun intended. They were like meat handlers or something, or butchers or something.
Yeah. Oh, but like the inside jokes on that were great though. When Rollins is like, it's like no one's gonna come in here and beat our meat, you know.
Right.
Like I did like that.
Such grief.
Oh,
Right. Vince will sit back there like, God damn it, that's funny.
I think Vince thinks that they're all separate people. I don't think Vince knows that they're his wrestlers playing them. It's gonna be like, who do we need in the Rumble? He's like, where's that big Bartholomew? Where's him? Where's the meat beaters? Yeah, we'll put them in the Rumble.
I don't want the meat beaters in the Rumble.
Oh,
He wanted
Jesus.
the meat beers for himself.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what she said.
Other lighthearted stuff, like just fun stuff.
Good evening, folks.
I love the interactions before the breakup of Jericho and Owens. Festival of Friendship.
Yeah, the list was the funniest thing this year.
It was good.
The list was the funniest.
And Rusev.
The funniest running joke this year. Now, Rusev Day is trying to take over.
Rusev Day is the shit. I love Rusev.
Rusev Day is hilarious. But still no
The way
list.
Rusev Day is introduced is funny.
Right.
Yes.
That's what makes Rusev Day funny, yeah.
Best thing that happened to the Vaudevillains was getting rid of that one guy.
Yes. Other good stuff. I will say this. I love the New Day. We love the New Day. I was really worried that after they dropped the titles, that their popularity was going to wane and maybe they would break up. But their feud with the Usos has been phenomenal. And, of course, it resulted in that excellent Hell in a Cell match. But kind of a funny thing when they did that rap battle, where they called out Xavier Woods for the sex tapes and all that.
Yeah.
That was some funny stuff.
That was funny.
Some man's got needs.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it. So, yeah, literally. Hi-yo.
And then a couple other things I want to touch on. I think there's some real cool things that happened this year. The return of tournaments. We got the United Kingdom Championship Tournament in January, which was phenomenal. Nice 2-day tournament. And now there's dogs. Dogs love the UK tournament, apparently. And then the Mae Young Classic, where we got to see like so many awesome talents. What do you guys think about that?
I didn't
The UK
watch.
title. The UK one was awesome. I did actually, and the best thing about it is it came on at 3 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
On a Saturday.
on the Saturday, right. So,
That tournament has so much promise. And to me, I just feel like they really dropped the ball with the UK tournament, man. Because I ain't gonna front. Like, I was sitting there watching that, and I think I was talking to Hammer about it. And I was like, that was like one of the few tournaments that I sat down and like I think I was watching a replay like that Saturday. No, it was like round 2 or whatever it was that Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there like, man, like this should be like a show. Like this should be a show.
Well,
like,
they were supposed to make a show, and it was supposed to debut in the summertime, and it just like never happened.
Oh well, thank Vince for it.
Vince wants to be a fucking football coach again.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I think they were wanting it to be 205 Part 2.
What's that?
I'm afraid.
Yeah, there you go, Tyler. Move the rabbit.
Sorry.
Damn.
The tournament, it was like 205 part 2. It could have been amazing, but it crashed and burned and they lost it.
Oh, I love the tournament. I think that here's the problem is that you don't get to see these guys a lot. Like, you'll see them kind of peppered in here and there in NXT. So, like, the UK title is almost like the secondary title on NXT now. The fact that, like, they need to get them a show. You know, that's the whole thing. I think if you get them a show, then you'll see, like, they did a rematch of the finals, I think last week or this past week on NXT. They had Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, but they're just awesome. Now, the cool thing
How did that go?
It was really good. It was a really, really good. Cool thing that they're doing with the UK title, though, is that Trips is letting them defend the title in other promotions all around the world. So that's kind of cool. You know, it's like
kind of going back to the territory days.
Yeah, like these defending it in like ICW and friggin' Progress and all these other places in Ireland, the UK. So that's kind of cool. And then he comes back to the States and defends it here. So I think that's actually pretty nice that they're doing that. Mae Young Classic, I had a lot of fun watching it, and a lot of the talent, you know, it was like some of like the best independent talent in the world. I think that, you know, with Kairi Sane winning, and she just got a shot at the NXT title, and that was it. And then right now you really don't hear from her. What's that?
Tell me what she deserved. I'm still not sold on her.
No, neither am I. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm not. I have no appeal to with Kairi Sane. And it's nothing against her. It's just not my cup of tea. You know. I think Shayna Baszler should have won. I think she was the more intriguing character, but you know that is what it is, and it's WWE.
Once I found out Mae Young was gonna be there, I didn't even watch the tournament.
Oh yeah. Well, they could have brought her in on animatronics. They could have done the Tupac hologram. They could have done that.
They could have something, you know.
You know. That's what I have there. A couple other things I want to touch on before we get into our awards and end the show out. Another bright spot is the debut of Adam Cole. Very excited about that. I think overall the 2017 class of NXT is really good. You got guys in there like Aleister Black, who's phenomenal. Velveteen Dream, who I thought was just going to be a throwaway character. This motherfucker is awesome, you know?
That's Hammer's favorite wrestler.
Dude, I love Velveteen Dream. It's awesome.
You will not drag me into that.
That match with him and Aleister Black was amazing.
It was a good match.
And then, like
I'm really between the bastard son of Rick Rude and Orlando Jordan.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I did not know Orlando Jordan could wrestle that well. Like, when I was sitting there watching that match, man, I'm like, this dude was really, you know, it was like honestly, it was kind of like Goldust and Orlando Jordan, you know, kind of swap DNA, and you know, out came Chris Benoit. It was a pretty good match, man. I'm sorry.
It was really good. We got the return of Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre.
You mean Stretch Armstrong with no arm?
Yeah, man, that sucks. He got hurt. We got Andrade Cien Almas winning the title. We got the breakup of DIY, the rise and fall of Johnny Gargano, and hopefully the rise again. And then we got the return of War Games, which was a phenomenal pay-per-view.
Can't forget about Red Dragon either.
Red Dragon, man, freaking tag champs, you know. So, I mean that's going to be like one of my bright spots of 2017. All right, so we ran a poll yesterday. Giggity.
Oh, that's what she said.
Giggity. So we just did it on Twitter for our Twitter users. Let's start off from the bottom here. Start from the bottom, like Drake, and we'll see what happens. All right, so for the 2017 Male Wrestler of the Year, we had either Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, or AJ Styles. with 67% of the fan votes. The male wrestler of the year, as voted by the fans and listeners, AJ Styles. So yay for AJ Styles. I mean,
I love mountain hair.
You cannot not love AJ Styles. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, this was his year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This was his year. So, if anyone says anything other, if the Slammies say anything other than that, they can eat a dick.
He's the only one to get a good match out of Brock Lesnar this year.
Yeah. That's true.
And that, you know what, that's my low, I'm going to change it. That's my low light, is the fact that Brock Lesnar still has the title, and it's a complete waste of a fucking championship. I have no interest in Brock Lesnar whatsoever anymore. He's not an attraction to me. He's not, there's no reason, like, I think Brock's going to be on Raw this week. I don't give a shit, because he's not going to do anything. He's going to show up, Heyman's going to talk, and then they're going to walk away. It's a complete waste of time. That's my low light of 2017 and 16 and however long he's had that damn belt.
Get ready for a low light till Mania.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's probably not going to drop it till Mania. So, let's get back to the awards here. We had the 2017 Female Wrestler of the Year. We had between Alexa Bliss, Rosemary from Impact Wrestling and the Indies, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. With 78% of the votes, your Female Wrestler of the Year is Mae Young. Yes, it is Asuka.
For Mae Young.
It is Asuka.
Mae Young still got it.
I ain't gonna lie, I voted for Charlotte Flair on that one.
Did you vote for Charlotte? Alexa Bliss got 0% of the votes.
Thank God.
I know you do not like Alexa. All right, so
trash.
Jesus. So for the event of the year, so this would be a pay-per-view or a super card, if you will. We had Ring of Honor Best in the World. That was the main event with Cody Rhodes and Christopher Daniels. We had NXT TakeOver War Games. We had New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 11. And of course we have the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. This one is a tie. Okay?
Are you shitting me?
A tie. Both getting 44% of the votes. Tie with WrestleMania and NXT TakeOver War Games. Crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought listen. Yeah, over Wrestle Kingdom.
I mean, I'd watch War Games again before I watch Mania.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. There's only like man.
Lackluster as hell.
Yeah, it was. You know what?
I mean, a lot to be desired. I think the reason it pissed me off was the fact that it didn't have a top to the cage.
You know what? But the match was so good, I forgot about it though.
See, I wouldn't have mind that they didn't have a top on the cage if I would have saw more aerial spots.
For a reason for it to not have a top.
Exactly. Like, you got a lot of guys in that ring that, they can perform moves like that. Like, guys that are known to do stuff like that. And for you to take the top off the cage is like, okay, and you didn't do anything with it. But hold on, let's go back to this. No one picked Okada and Omega's match at Wrestle Kingdom? Nobody at all?
No, this is just the event of the year. This has nothing to do with the match. Match of the year is going to be our last one.
Okay. I was about to get a little...
Okay. Next one is the promotion of the year. Obviously, just the company of the year. So we had Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, very popular. Ring of Honor, Global Force. I'm gonna global force a bullet into my head if I have to watch that damn company ever again. We had PWG. We had Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then NXT/WWE. So
Southpaw Wrestling didn't make it.
Southpaw did not make it. No, they folded.
Shit.
With 50% of the votes, the winner. I'm actually kind of surprised. The winner is WWE/NXT. So
most of that's NXT, though.
Yeah.
You shouldn't really be surprised.
Yeah, runner-up is New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I would not have doubted that.
Yeah.
All right. Tag Team of the Year. This was the one where we there was a little controversy with all of us here because there was some teams on here that were left out, and that's only because we had 4 choices. So this one I think was kind of weird with the result here, but we had the Authors of Pain, the Hardys, the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and the Young Bucks. The winner with 40% of the votes is the Hardys, actually. The Hardys.
Honestly, they shouldn't have been in the category.
Seriously, and I agree. I really agree.
I think the Usos should have been in there. When you guys mentioned it, I probably would have put the Usos in there. Nothing gets a New Day.
One of the two.
Yeah,
but the Hardys, we love them for the nostalgia, but they didn't come back and do anything.
Yeah. Well, side note.
Outside of the big pop at Mania.
Side note, what do you guys think about Woken Matt?
They're getting there.
One word, finally.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, they're getting there. They're building it up nicely now.
You know what? Dude, like the tag team thing that you were talking about, for the first time ever, you made 2 guys, and I'm sorry, they might both be like workhorses, they might both be athletic in the ring, but you made 2 stale guys entertaining. When you put the Bar together.
Yeah.
Like, honest to God, that was the most entertaining that Cesaro and Sheamus have ever been since they both arrived in WWE. And that's including, like, every championship run that Sheamus had.
Yeah.
And then the lackluster run, and that's because of booking for Cesaro.
Right.
You made 2 guys that are still, like, entertaining and as all hell. Like, that's why they were my pick.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was actually my vote, actually.
I voted for Authors of Pain.
Yeah, Authors of Pain, they were dominant as fuck. They were dominant as fuck this year.
I'm just ready for them to show up and wreck shop and beat Usos' ass and take their title.
And then, you know what? A low light for this year was the fall of the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
That sucks. It's so sad about that. We have
complete waste.
Yeah.
Highlight New Day has pancakes now.
Yeah, what the fuck is that all about?
They're morning after pancakes, right, Sirens?
Charlotte Flair.
Oh.
Big E made Siren pancakes one morning and was like, "Hey, this will fucking work."
Oh no.
This will work on TV.
It's an inside joke. It's Siren has there's rumors of an infatuation with one Mr. Langston.
There are no rumors.
If you were stuck, if you
y'all know that Hula Girl dashboard thing that's powered by solar power.
Yeah.
Someone told me that Siren has Big E pasted on the front of it, so that it's hitch swing every time the sun hits it.
Terrible.
All right. Oh my God. OMG moment of the year. We have Jericho challenges Kenny Omega for the match at Wrestle Kingdom. We have Jinder Mahal wins the WWE Championship. We have the return of the Hardys at WrestleMania. And we have the announcement of the Women's Royal Rumble. This is another one where we have a tie.
Had to be Jinder and, let me guess, Jinder and Hardys.
Exactly. That's what it was.
Stage powers, bitches.
And I remember I had to cancel my WrestleMania party because I was really sick. And I'm sitting on my couch. And when the Hardys music hit, I jumped off my couch. It was legit, fanboy, I popped, Did you
slip in your own vomit, too?
I did. It was
Yeah.
It was bad.
All right. Just want to make sure they knew that.
My IV popped out and everything.
In all fairness, since Hammer is telling El Jefe's business, Hammer actually ruined a pair of pants when the Hardys came out.
Yeah. I got a text from Hammer, and there was no words. It was just some random letters, numbers, emojis, and it was a seizure. It was I didn't know Michael J. Fox was texting me right now.
Yeah, it was the poop emoji.
It was a poop emoji.
He actually texted me coming back from Target because he had to go back to the office at 3 a.m.
He's like,
I needed new khakis for work. Shit.
That was it was flood damage.
so the new rule is when we watch
Blood
WrestleMania,
damage is not here.
everybody's
Blood
getting.
damage is at Samuel's house.
Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
Who was it? Oh, you guys are at my house for SummerSlam. That's what it
Where
was.
are you at it again?
I don't know what's happening right now. It's craziness. All right. So the final award for the year here, we have the 2017 Match of the Year. So there's a lot of great matches. These are just some ones that stuck out. We have War Games, the War Games matches we talked about. Asuka versus Ember Moon 2. This was the one where it was actually Asuka's last match in NXT, the one she actually got hurt in. I believe it was from TakeOver Chicago, I want to say. And then we had John Cena versus AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble, where Cena won the 16th title, and it was like an amazing match. And then we have Kenny Omega versus Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 11. The winner with 40% of the votes, Asuka versus Ember Moon.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. It's Omega and Okada.
I was about to say. I was about to peace out.
It was.
What did Moon and Asuka get though? Because
They
don't follow New Japan.
They got the. Though it was Omega and Okada. The runner-up was Cena and Styles. And then it was War Games, and then it was Asuka and Ember Moon.
Really?
Yeah, I would put Asuka and Ember Moon over War Games as much as I loved it.
I mean, shit. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. So, so those are the awards for this year. Did a little less this year as opposed to last year, but it is what it is. So, in closing, what are some predictions? Shout out to DV. Yes. What are your predictions for 2018? Siren, we're going to start with you.
You don't want to start with me.
Yeah, I don't want to start with you?
No, I have nothing good to say.
Nothing good?
Like most girls.
There's nothing you're anticipating for next year.
No. Like, until Vince goes away, dies, whatever, and Trips takes over.
Oh my God.
Damn. She's not like most girls.
Okay, we on the... Jesus. All right, Hammer, what do you got? What's your predictions for 2018?
Shit. First one is that whatever Uso brother is married to Naomi tears both his quadriceps, and she comes running back to me. That's the first thing. That'll happen about July or so. Closer to October when it's cuffing season. So, but I think we're gonna get a lot of swerves. My Sage Powers have told you guys already. We're probably gonna get Daniel Bryan versus Shane at Mania.
Yeah. You see him run the ropes the other day?
Huh?
They showed after SmackDown, he refereed a match, and he just randomly started running the ropes. So it's basically, I fucking dare you to fire me right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I think, I don't know. We'll probably get Big Cass back now that you re-mentioned him. We'll probably get him back the night after Mania, sort of thing. But I don't know. Now that Jason Jordan and Seth are tag champ, I think the bar will be breaking up.
Yeah, I can see that. Did you hear who the other potential partner for Rollins was?
No.
This is really going to piss you guys off.
Oh, shit.
It was between Jason Jordan and Finn Balor.
Oh, no.
And they went with Jason Jordan.
You fucking fuckers.
Yeah. So.
God, I want that old man to die of nut cancer. Oh my God!
Don't wish that. Come on.
Oh, I wish it.
No. Okay.
At least I wish like explosive diarrhea on him.
Explosive diarrhea, but yeah, I'm good with explosive diarrhea. Teddy, what you got? What you got for 2018?
All right. I think 2018 we're going to see, like Hammer was saying, a lot of swerves. I think this year we might end up seeing a lot of stuff that we didn't expect to see, but we wanted to see. I think we are going to end up getting somehow, some way, I think we are going to end up getting from somewhere an invasion angle. I'm not sure where it's going to come from, whether it's ROH or New Japan. We might end up getting an invasion angle. I have a nagging suspicion that Finn and the Good Brothers will end up being released from WWE.
No.
And they'll go back to New Japan and they'll put the band back together like it should have been all along.
Oh. It's a bold prediction.
I think that WrestleMania will probably be the main event itself will probably be as epic can be. And I think we'll finally end up seeing Nakamura versus AJ in the main event. Hopefully. And then that's about it. I mean,
did we make predictions for who's going to win the actual Rumble? I know we did the women. We didn't do the men.
I think Finn.
I got Nakamura.
Nakamura, I think, is the obvious choice, but
I would ride with Finn too. I'm going to rock with Finn.
I would love to see Finn win.
I think this,
and because of the rumors that we discussed earlier, Teddy, that's really one of the reasons I'm rocking with Finn winning.
Yeah, let's just see.
I would love to see Finn win. I mean, I really would. I promise you, I would.
Yeah, we get Finn versus AJ at Mania.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did a Talking Smack after the last SmackDown pay-per-view, and they asked AJ Styles, they said, well, who's next for you? And then he alluded to it. He says, you know what? He's like, I'm willing to take on all challenges, but he's like, there is a certain someone from Monday Night Raw that I have a score to settle with. He's like, and you guys know who he is, and he's got one up on me, and I need to settle the score. So that's why I'm like, ooh, it's
either him or Brock, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I want to see AJ and Finn.
Oh, yeah.
But I know everybody wants to see AJ and Nakamura. But the fact that I think they've kind of cooled off on Nakamura, I can see Nakamura in a secondary position. I could see a trade eventually, and you put Nakamura in the IC title picture. You're going to see a lot of swaps this year. You're going to see guys that are prominently on Raw. They're going to go to SmackDown and vice versa. We're going to see some new feuds, and we'll see some call-ups from NXT. That's what I'm thinking.
So do you think Nakamura is going to end up in this U.S. title?
The tournament? I don't know. They didn't announce it with him in there. It's kind of weird.
Well, and me and Teddy were talking about this. The mid card, the level of mid carders on SmackDown is mediocre at best. They have no mid carders.
Bobby Roode.
But you see they threw Jinder right back into mid card position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you think about it, you got, like you said, you got Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin, which you just used those two. You got Jinder Mahal, and you got Ty Dillinger, who everybody keeps forgetting about because they don't fucking use him.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got, technically, you do have KO and Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you got Randy and Nakamura running around. Other than that, you have no legitimate mid-carders.
Yeah.
And then if you take if you take KO out of the main event picture, you take Randy out of the main event picture, and you take Nakamura out of the main event picture, who do you leave there for AJ? Who's left now?
Seth Rollins. You do a trade. You need fresh feuds, and I think that's what we're gonna get here. So if I can be a betting man, we're gonna see. Here's what I want to see. Okay, I want to see Finn take that title off Brock. Okay, and I want the feud on Raw to be Finn and Rollins, and then Finn and Joe for the title. That would be badass. That's what I can see.
I approve that message.
Yeah, I think that if they're gonna do this, I think what you're gonna do is you're gonna see in 2018. Yeah, you will see Daniel Bryan come back. He's gonna. Here's the problem. He's come out and said it. If WWE doesn't clear him, then he's leaving. WWE does not want to lose Daniel Bryan, and he's been cleared by every doctor there is. So
Yeah.
they're building to this Shane McMahon match. And I think it's just going to be it's not going to be a one-off. I think it's going to be a nice way to kind of ease him back into everything. And goddamn, if I can see an AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan feud over the title,
Oh my god.
I'd poop myself. Like, I will need new drawers for the entire week.
You might need to put a tarp down for that one.
I'm gonna need to get flood insurance on my house.
Clean up his siren's house. Send over the bucket. Over the big yellow bucket.
Like that's what I want. I want AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan to feud forever.
Yeah. That would be fucking epic.
Hey, you know what? I just thought about something, and I think we might see it finally in 2019, Jesus. 2018.
The return of the World Bodybuilding Federation. No? Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's all right. I think we might get a Kings of Wrestling reunion in 2018.
Fucking yeah. Ono. Yeah, I forgot about Ono. Yeah. There's a lot of talent that can move around.
Ono will get caught up, and him and Cesaro will find.
That's what I was about to say. Wasn't that him and Cesaro?
Mm-hmm.
I just they need to put Ono on the complete Weight Watchers program all the fucking way. I'm sorry. You talk about somebody. You talk about somebody that you should complain about, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember when Vince was complaining about how KO looked? I'm like, but KO has always been that size. KO didn't start off a skinny dude and just blow the fuck up. Cassius Ono is fucking Chris Harris huge, and it makes no damn sense.
Excuse me.
True.
Oh, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I had to get that out. Go ahead.
No, you good, Eddie.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, man, like Ono is already rocking the sleeve, and Cesaro rocks the sleeve. So I mean, it's like you already got the merch right there.
That's it.
So yeah, I think we'll see the Kings of Wrestling reunite, man. That'd be
You know
like
what?
a little
I think
mark out moment for me.
the Sheamus needs to take some time off because he's got a hurt neck. That would be the perfect thing. They dropped the titles, or they already did drop titles, but you do like a little swerve where you get Ono comes out of the crowd, and then him and freaking Cesaro turn on Sheamus, and they write him off TV. You got the damn Kings of Wrestling now.
Do you think we'll ever get rid of Sheamus's mohawk?
I love Sheamus's mohawk.
He looks stupid.
Right. Once he goes off for this for his neck injury or whatever, they're going to have to repackage him in some way, shape, or form. He's going to come back.
I want Sheamus to come back as the new Finley. The new Finley. I don't even want them to call him Sheamus when he comes back. I want to see vintages for new Finley. That's what I want.
New Finley.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna come out with the shillelagh and all that other bullshit. That's what I want.
That's different.
It is, and hey, if Woken Matt Hardy can get over, new Sheamus, or what's his name, new Finley can get over. So
Can he come out and river dance?
that's exactly what I want him to do. Yeah, I want him to come out of a giant fucking 4-leaf clover at WrestleMania. A giant inflatable 4-leaf clover.
Not inflatable. Good grief.
So on that note, I think it's... Go ahead.
I was going to say with Cesaro, and you could probably, like you said, you get your King of Wrestling going on. But I don't think they're going to, like, turn him on Sheamus. I think they're just going to go ahead, and be like, hey, he needs to have the surgery, blah, 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 blah. And then Sheamus is always gonna show up and be like, hey, never got my tag team rematch, but I got a partner.
Ah, there you go. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? And then they bring it. That's how they can bring in your kings of fat wrestling.
Kings of fat wrestling. Kings of Weight Watchers.
Right.
Here's what I want. Okay, this is my final prediction for the year. This is what I want. This is my request. I want Brock Lesnar. I want Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, the Authors of Pain, Big Show and Mark Henry, and the Great Khali. I want them all in one ring. And I want them to charge it. Oh, and Rhino, we're gonna throw Rhino in there. And Goldberg, and I want them to ring the bell, and they all charge at each other, and they explode. They all turn into dust. That's what I want.
Well, take Braun out of the mix. I like Braun. Throw Kane in there.
Throw Kane in there too. I just want all the big, immobile wrestlers, and I want them all in one match. And you know what I want them in? I want them in a fucking ladder match.
Punjabi prison match.
I want them in a Punjabi prison ladder match. That's what I want. I want to see Braun Strowman do a 450 off a 20-foot ladder. That's what I want.
Oh, shit.
So, that's my prediction. That's my request.
Athletic enough to do some shit like that, though.
You know what? He would be able to do some weird shit like that.
Fucking Sid Vicious his leg, but he'll do it.
Shout out to Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious is gonna be in town tomorrow.
Shout out Fever. Right. Shout out to Shin Splint.
Oh, damn it. Oh,
shout out to Paul George.
Oh,
Jesus.
So, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Shout out to Kevin Ankle.
The guy that broke his ankle sideways in the first 30 seconds of the game this year.
Shout out to Gordon Hayward.
Oh my God. And shout out to the end of the show. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Any last thoughts before I get booted off the internet?
Mike Power.
Oh my God. We didn't get an Oprah scream.
I can't.
Every morning. Oprah!
This is the greatest line ever, man. Shout out to Dave Chappelle for getting over pregnant. And the baby not even being his. That's how I'm going to quit.
Shout out to Greasiness. May 2018 be greasier than ever.
This show today has been greasier than Lex Luger's sex.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, jeez, Siren. Good grief, we're almost done. Siren sounded like flatulence.
Siren, what?
I didn't care anymore.
Got nothing.
Any last thoughts from anybody else? All right. I'm playing the music out. I'm playing us out. That's all. Curtain call's happening. The music is playing.
Shout out to the gas man.
That being said, I want to thank everybody for listening. On your listens, your downloads, your subscriptions. You can check us out at Rebellion Wrestling. Jesus Christ. RebellionWrestling.podbean.com. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com. Buy yourself a Pro Wrestling t-shirt. Support the show. And we'll hopefully be back on the air in 2018 if we don't get completely canceled.
Shout out to Black Eyed Peas.